Imagine waking up one morning, standing beside your bed, and realizing your legs don't feel quite as steady as they did a few years ago. You haven't fallen, you haven't injured yourself, but something has changed. Climbing stairs feels harder. Walking across the grocery store seems more tiring. Even getting up from a chair takes a little extra effort. Most people assume this is simply a normal part of aging. But what if some of the foods you eat every day are quietly making the problem worse? One of the biggest surprises for many older adults is that not every food with a healthy reputation works the same way after the age of 60. Your body changes in remarkable ways as the years pass. Muscles naturally become smaller if they aren't regularly challenged. Blood sugar becomes more difficult to control. Inflammation tends to linger longer than it did decades ago. Nerves become more sensitive, and circulation isn't always as efficient as before. These changes don't happen overnight, but they create a situation where foods that once seemed harmless may now have a much bigger impact on how strong and stable your legs feel. The good news is that you don't have to follow complicated diets or eliminate every food you enjoy. Sometimes, simply understanding which foods deserve extra attention can make a meaningful difference. Today, we're looking at several fruits that many people consider perfectly healthy, but may deserve a second thought if your goal is maintaining strong muscles, steady balance, and healthy circulation as you grow older. More importantly, by the end of this video, you'll also discover better alternatives that can help support your body instead of working against it. Let's begin with a fruit that often symbolizes health itself. Pineapple is colorful, refreshing, and packed with vitamins. For years, it has been promoted as an excellent choice for hydration and immune support. On the surface, that sounds wonderful. But there's another side to the story that many seniors never hear. A single serving of pineapple contains a surprising amount of natural sugar. Although natural sugar sounds healthier than processed sugar, your body still has to process it. As we age, insulin becomes less effective in many people. That means blood sugar can rise more quickly and remain elevated for longer periods. When these spikes happen repeatedly, they may contribute to fatigue, increased inflammation, and reduced muscle performance over time. There's also the fruit's acidity to consider. Pineapple contains natural acids that some older adults tolerate very well, while others notice increased digestive discomfort or irritation after eating large amounts. Chronic inflammation doesn't usually announce itself dramatically. Instead, it quietly influences the joints, muscles, and connective tissues that help you move comfortably every day. Think about your legs as the foundation of a house. If the foundation is constantly exposed to stress, tiny cracks eventually begin to appear. In your body, persistent inflammation acts much the same way. It doesn't instantly weaken your muscles, but over months and years, it can make recovery slower and discomfort more noticeable. This doesn't mean pineapple is dangerous. It means portion size matters far more after 60 than it did at 30. Now consider another fruit that's practically a breakfast staple around the world. Bananas are famous for potassium. Most people immediately associate them with healthy muscles because potassium helps regulate muscle contractions and nerve signals. That's absolutely true. But nutrition is rarely that simple. A ripe banana also delivers a significant amount of carbohydrates that convert into glucose during digestion. For physically active individuals, that energy can be useful. However, many seniors spend longer periods sitting throughout the day, meaning the body doesn't always use that incoming sugar efficiently. Instead of providing lasting energy, the result can sometimes be a quick burst followed by an energy crash. That afternoon sluggishness many older adults experience isn't always caused by poor sleep. Sometimes it's connected to how rapidly blood sugar rises and falls after meals. Imagine pouring a bucket of water into a small garden all at once, instead of watering it slowly throughout the day. Much of that water isn't used efficiently. The same principle applies to glucose entering the bloodstream too quickly. Some seniors also report feeling unusually heavy or swollen after eating large amounts of bananas regularly. While swelling has many possible causes, including medications, circulation issues, or heart conditions, paying attention to how your own body responds can provide valuable clues. The important lesson isn't that bananas should disappear from your kitchen forever. It's that one fruit doesn't automatically fit everyone's changing metabolism. Now let's move to a fruit that's almost impossible to eat just one handful of. Grapes seem harmless because they're small. In fact, that's exactly what makes them so easy to overconsume. A person may casually snack on dozens without realizing they've consumed far more sugar than intended. Grapes are rich in fructose, the naturally occurring sugar found in fruit. Unlike glucose, fructose is processed primarily by the liver. While moderate amounts aren't usually a problem, consistently high intakes may place extra stress on the body's metabolic system, especially in people who already struggle with blood sugar control or fatty liver disease. Another concern involves uric acid. Research suggests that excessive fructose intake can increase uric acid production in some individuals. Elevated uric acid levels have long been associated with painful joint conditions like gout. But even before gout develops, some people notice stiffness or aching that affects mobility. Picture trying to walk comfortably while your knees and ankles feel slightly irritated every morning. You might blame aging itself when, in reality, several small lifestyle factors are working together behind the scenes. That's why awareness matters. Many older adults focus entirely on calories, while overlooking how specific foods affect inflammation, circulation, and joint comfort. Speaking of circulation, the next fruit often surprises people even more. Watermelon feels like the perfect summer snack. It's refreshing, mostly water, and incredibly satisfying on hot afternoons. Because it's low in calories, many people assume they can eat unlimited amounts without consequence. However, watermelon has a relatively high glycemic index. That means the sugars it contains can enter the bloodstream fairly quickly. Although its glycemic load depends on portion size, eating several large slices at once may still cause noticeable blood sugar fluctuations for certain individuals. Why does that matter for your legs? Healthy muscles depend on a steady supply of energy delivered through healthy blood vessels. When blood sugar repeatedly swings from high to low, many people experience tiredness, weakness, or reduced endurance. Over time, poor glucose control is also one of the biggest contributors to nerve damage, especially in the feet and lower legs. Millions of older adults develop numbness, tingling, burning sensations, or decreased balance because the tiny nerves responsible for communication gradually become damaged. While fruit alone isn't responsible for this process, making smarter dietary choices becomes one important piece of protecting long-term mobility. Have you ever noticed someone shuffling instead of lifting their feet while walking? Sometimes that change begins not because muscles suddenly became weak, but because sensation in the feet slowly declined over many years. The brain relies on constant feedback from nerves to maintain balance. When that communication weakens, even simple movements become more challenging. That's why preserving nerve health deserves just as much attention as preserving muscle strength. And the next fruit on our list raises another important question that many seniors have never considered before. One fruit that has enjoyed an almost flawless reputation for generations is the orange. From childhood, many of us were told that oranges were one of the healthiest foods we could possibly eat. They're packed with vitamin C, refreshing, and often recommended during cold and flu season. But as your body ages, even a nutritious fruit deserves a closer look. The concern isn't the vitamin C. In fact, vitamin C plays an important role in supporting the immune system and helping your body produce collagen, the protein that keeps your skin, tendons, ligaments, and blood vessels strong. The issue is how oranges are often consumed and how some older adults respond to them. Fresh oranges contain natural sugars along with fiber, which helps slow digestion. But many seniors prefer orange juice because it's quick and convenient. Unfortunately, juice removes much of the fiber while leaving behind a concentrated source of sugar. A single glass can contain the juice of several oranges, making it surprisingly easy to consume far more sugar than you intended in just a few minutes. Without enough fiber to slow absorption, blood sugar may rise much faster. For seniors already dealing with insulin resistance or pre-diabetes, these repeated spikes can gradually affect energy levels throughout the day. Have you ever felt unusually sleepy shortly after breakfast, even though you thought you had eaten something healthy? That sudden drop in energy may not simply be part of getting older. Sometimes it's your body responding to a rapid rise and fall in blood sugar. There's another detail worth mentioning. Citrus fruits are naturally acidic. While many people digest them without any problems, others experience acid reflux, stomach irritation, or discomfort after eating large amounts. Poor sleep caused by nighttime heartburn can indirectly affect muscle recovery, balance, and daytime energy. When sleep quality declines, everything from coordination to strength tends to suffer. Again, this doesn't mean every senior should stop eating oranges. It simply reminds us that context matters. A whole orange enjoyed with a balanced meal is very different from drinking a large glass of sweetened orange juice on an empty stomach. Now let's look at another fruit that often surprises people. Green apples are usually considered the healthier choice compared to sweeter red varieties. They're crisp, refreshing, and lower in sugar than many tropical fruits. Because of that reputation, countless people assume they can eat as many as they like. But green apples also contain a noticeable amount of natural acids. For some older adults with sensitive digestive systems, eating them frequently may contribute to stomach discomfort or bloating. While this doesn't happen to everyone, it's one reason why paying attention to your body's signals becomes increasingly important after 60. Think about how differently two people can react to the exact same meal. One person feels energized, another feels sluggish or uncomfortable. Aging makes these individual differences even more noticeable. Nutrition is no longer just about what science says is healthy in general. It's also about discovering what allows your own body to function at its best. Some seniors notice that eating certain acidic foods late in the evening affects their sleep. They wake up feeling stiff, tired, or less mobile the following morning. Although many factors influence these symptoms, adjusting meal timing and choosing gentler foods later in the day sometimes makes a remarkable difference. That's why keeping a simple food journal for a few weeks can be incredibly revealing. You don't need complicated charts or expensive tests. Simply write down what you eat and how you feel afterward. Patterns often appear that you never noticed before. Now let's talk about a fruit that's loved around the world for its rich flavor and tropical sweetness. Mangoes. Few fruits taste as naturally sweet as a ripe mango. Their vibrant color comes from beneficial plant compounds, and they provide several valuable vitamins. But they're also one of the sweeter fruits available. That sweetness isn't necessarily a problem for someone who exercises intensely every day. But many older adults are less physically active than they once were. As muscles become smaller with age, the body's ability to handle large amounts of sugar often declines as well. Excess sugar doesn't simply affect blood glucose. Over time, diets consistently high in sugar may contribute to chronic inflammation, weight gain, fatty liver, and increased stress on blood vessels. These are all factors that can eventually influence mobility. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack every hour of every day. At first, your legs manage the extra weight without much difficulty. But year after year, the strain slowly builds. The same thing can happen inside the body when excess weight and chronic inflammation quietly place additional pressure on your knees, hips, and ankles. One of the biggest reasons seniors lose independence isn't because of a single disease. It's because several small problems gradually combine. Slight muscle loss, mild inflammation, reduced circulation, less physical activity, a few extra pounds. Individually, each issue seems manageable. Together, they create a powerful effect. That's why making small improvements early often produces much bigger benefits than waiting until walking becomes difficult. Now here's something many people never expect to hear. The goal is not to fear fruit. Fruit remains one of nature's most nutritious foods. It provides vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and fiber that support healthy aging. The real secret isn't avoiding fruit altogether. It's choosing varieties that offer more nutritional benefits while placing less stress on your metabolism. Let's begin with berries. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries are nutritional powerhouses. Compared with many sweeter fruits, they're generally lower in sugar, while providing impressive amounts of fiber and antioxidants. These antioxidants help protect your cells from oxidative stress, one of the major contributors to aging. Every day, your body produces unstable molecules called free radicals. Left unchecked, they can damage tissues throughout the body, including muscles, blood vessels, and nerves. Antioxidants act like tiny bodyguards, helping neutralize those harmful molecules before they cause more damage. That's one reason berries are consistently associated with healthy aging in nutritional research. Another excellent choice is cherries. Cherries contain natural compounds called polyphenols that have been studied for their potential role in reducing inflammation and supporting recovery after physical activity. Some research even suggests that tart cherries may help improve sleep quality in certain people because they naturally contain small amounts of melatonin. Better sleep means better muscle repair. Better muscle repair means stronger legs. Stronger legs mean greater independence. Sometimes the path to healthier aging is simply a series of small improvements that reinforce one another. Pears are another wonderful option. Unlike many sweeter fruits, pears contain generous amounts of fiber that slow digestion and help promote steadier blood sugar levels. They also help many people feel full longer, reducing unnecessary snacking later in the day. Then there's papaya. This tropical fruit provides vitamin C, vitamin A, and digestive enzymes that may help some individuals digest protein more comfortably. Since adequate protein intake is essential for maintaining muscle mass during aging, supporting digestion becomes another piece of the puzzle. And finally, there's one fruit that surprises almost everyone because many people don't even think of it as a fruit at all. The avocado. Rich, creamy, and loaded with healthy monounsaturated fats, avocados are very different from the sugary fruits we've discussed. Instead of causing rapid blood sugar spikes, they digest slowly and provide lasting energy. They also contain potassium, magnesium, fiber, and nutrients that support heart health and healthy circulation. Healthy circulation is essential because every muscle in your legs depends on oxygen and nutrients being delivered efficiently through your bloodstream. And there's one final habit that may be even more important than choosing the right fruit. A simple daily practice that can determine whether your legs stay strong and reliable for years to come.